The recent Inter Milan logo change made me wonder, why do clubs feel the need to fix something that isn't broken? Recently, a trend has been visible, clubs changing their logos to more modern logos. But why is this the case? What is the driving force behind these changes? And what are some other recent examples of logo changes? The bad and the good ones will be showcased in this video. The Inter Milan logo is one of the most recognizable logos in the world. From India to Mexico, every football fan would be able to tell what club this is. So the question for me is, why fix something that is clearly not broken? But before we get into why clubs change their logos and their branding, let's look at some recent logo changes. A before and after comparison, and I will give each logo an individual rating. So of course we'll start off with Inter Milan, and we follow in no particular order. But for me, the old Inter Milan logo is one of the all-time classics, and it does the job very well of showcasing what and who they are. I like the touch of gold there as well. With the newer logo, I don't hate it, but I just think they've gone too much on the new and on the simplicity, which is something you'll see with logos to come. It's not bad, but the old one is definitely better, and this is for me a case in which the old one is better, so why change something that is not broken? So, the current one I give an 8 out of 10. The new one, I'd say I divide it a 4 out of 10. So up next we have Juventus, and once again the old logo is one of my all-time favorite logos. It's just the way the shape is, because it's rare for football clubs to have a shape like this. And the new logo is a case of where modern football takes it a step too far. I remember on the reveal of the new logo, it was set as in a very Italian style like modeling show, and it's not about football anymore. It's just about branding, which is not inherently wrong because clubs need to make money, but it's not for the fans, it's for money, and I don't think this is a good development. So for me, the old Juventus logo gets a solid 9 out of 10. The new logo, I just think it's awful. It just doesn't look like a football logo. Now that we've gotten used to it, people recognize it as Juventus, but before, everyone fell over it and thought it was terrible. I still think it's terrible, so I will give it a 2 out of 10. Next up, West Ham United, and now we're in England, where I'll have quite a few examples to show you. Let's first start off with the one that's actually still retained some of its original features. West Ham, with the hammers of course, it lost the castle. I don't know what the castle is referring to, but I liked it. I like the old West Ham logo. The new one is not too bad, I'll give it that. The old one will get a 7 out of 10, the new one a 6 out of 10. So we're still in England, and now we're getting into some interesting territory, because what you'll see is that all of these next logos seem to have been made by the same marketing company. Man City, old logo, great, 9 out of 10, easy. New logo, I know it's going back to original style, and this one is not too bad. I don't hate it. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't hate most of these logos, but this is bland, kind of bland for me. It's a 6 out of 10. Next we go to Bristol, and the old logo, you can see a more classic English style of logo, which I don't hate, but in this case it's a little stuck in the past, and these logos can be hard to read, and I do think it's important for a logo to be easy to distinguish. With this one, in that case, I prefer the newer logo, which still is quite generic and bland, but does the trick better than the old logo. So the old logo for me gets a 4 out of 10, and the newer logo I will go to a 6 out of 10. And with Brentford, once again, we have an old logo that I'm not quite sure. Well, I like it. It's not bad. It's very unique in its form as well, and with the kind of 4 distinguished quarters of the logo. who all represent something with the club. But the new logo, again, just does the trick a little bit better. It just shows who they are, the Bees, their name, the football club, the colors, and that's it. No more crazy things around it. Yeah, it's still, like I said, the same style as a few of the logos that we've seen before. I don't hate it, again, but I just think it's uncreative. So for me, the old logo, I don't really like it at all, actually. It gets a 3 out of 10. The new logo, I'll go with a 6 out of 10, once again, just like Bristol. Here we see another one of these new round logos, but in this case, I feel like it's very justified to have changed the logo. This Stevenage logo is stuck in the past. It's old. It has too much schmuck around it. It's just very uninteresting and very over the top. So for me, the old logo gets a solid 2 out of 10. The new logo, I like it a bit more than the other ones with the stag and the way it's incorporated into the red and white lines. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Just a point higher than the ones we'd seen previously. So here we go with Woking. We're getting into the lower levels of English football, but still you can see the same trend reappearing. And the old Woking logo is, in my opinion, a great logo. I really like it. The shape is unique. It's a nice shield. The text on top and at the bottom seems also very classic English, but in this case it is modern. The logo is well done and it just looks very nice. The new logo, again, I know it was voted on by the fans, but they had 2 options, both of which were these round logos that kind of looked identical. Again, it's not a bad logo per se, it's just uncreative, generic and bland. So the old Woking logo, like, I really like it. This one gets a 9 out of 10 for me. The new Woking logo will get a 6 out of 10. And now we go to Maidenhead, and another one of these examples where the old logo was desperately in need of change. This is probably one of my least favorite logos of this list, the old logo. And I don't know what they were doing. The shape is unique, I'll give them that. So I'll give them a point for a unique shape. But apart from that, it's just a weird illustration. All of this probably has to do something with the club's history, but I don't know because, I mean, I'm not too invested in Maidenhead as a club. Apart from that, it doesn't really show the colors either because this weird bluish tone that's in the logo is not Maidenhead's color. In that case, the newer logo does a way better job of showing who the club are. It is, once again, in this round, generic, same style. But just like Stevenage, they gave it a little extra with the incorporation of the bridge, the black and white stripes and the birds in the middle of the logo. So the new logo will get a 7 out of 10. And the old logo I will give a 2 out of 10. Because I really don't like it at all. So in this case, good job for changing your logo. It was necessary. So now we are about halfway done with all the teams that I quickly want to brush over. One of the last ones in England, Stockport United. It's one of those teams that I've somehow always known about. I don't know why, but I used to play with them, I think, on FIFA, and it's a long time ago. And I remember this old logo, and that I was not able to tell anything that was being displayed there. So once again, like we said with Stevenage, it's a very old school type English logo, and with Bristol as well, actually. I don't hate that. I like these historic logos, but this is just a bit too much. The new logo does a good job of incorporating the old in the new, which I really like. So this is probably my favorite new logo of the ones that we've seen so far. The new logo for me gets an 8 out of 10. Just simply because they incorporated the old in the new. The old, like I said, as historic as it may be, gets a 4 out of 10. Because it's very unintelligible. Final one in England, we go to Eastleigh. And the old logo for me is a meh. The new logo for me is a meh. I'll probably give both of them a 6. Because I don't hate either one. I don't think either one is particularly great. The redeeming factors of both logos is the plain which kind of sticks out on the side, which is a cool, unique factor. And with the old one, this is a shape that you rarely see for a logo. So for me, it's even, both a 6. And if you think that round logos would stop at the border of the UK, you're wrong, because even in Spain, we see this trend with Deportivo Alavés changing their logo from the old to the new, which makes sense. The old logo, in my opinion, is terrible. It's this kind of drawn-ish style. It just doesn't work for me in a logo. So good thing that they changed it. I would have just loved them to see the logo change to just the flag. I think that would have been amazing. This logo, the new one, is alright. I'll give it a 6. The old logo, I'll give a 1 because it's awful. Same thing when we go to France, to Toulouse. The old logo, once again, is a horrific accident, in my opinion. It's bad. The style, again, very old-fashioned, but very pencil-ish like. The new logo just is a touch more modern. It's quite nice. Again, we are dealing with a round logo, so it doesn't just stop in Spain either. The logo is okay. The new one, kind of hard to read again, so 6 out of 10. The old one, a point higher than the one in Alavés, so a 2 out of 10. And the other team in France is Bordeaux. And this is another example of teams trying to oversimplify things. Because the old Bordeaux logo was classic in its simplicity already, but now they just gone a step further. And for me, the new logo it's not awful, but it's not great. So the old logo will get a 7 out of 10 for me. The new logo will get a 5 out of 10. And we travel to distant Kazakhstan for another logo change done correctly. The old Astana logo is pretty terrible. I never understood why they kept this logo for so long. The new logo is kind of incorporating everything of the same when it comes to the colors, the ball, the name. It's still the same font, same style, but it's just much better. It's like incorporated in this crest with the 2 stars on top. It's a good logo. The new logo for me definitely gets an 8 out of 10, whereas the old one gets a 2 out of 10. Next up, we're going to Bulgaria, to the team Botev Vratsa. And once more, round logos don't stop in Western Europe. They also travel to Eastern Europe. And the old Botev Vratsa logo, in my opinion, is a decent logo. Not great. Gets a 5 out of 10. The new one, same thing, not great. I'll give it just a 6 out of 10 because it's for their 100th celebration. To be fair, Asteras Tripolis already had a round logo, so they just changed into another round logo. And this is a change when it comes to round logos done right. The new logo is so much superior than the old one, because the old one is kind of like the Toulouse one in this cartoonish kind of style, which I really dislike when it comes to logos. The new one is much better, and I like that it just doesn't connect, but that there's just an opening between. So it makes it a little different from the other round logos that we've seen. So this one gets a 7 out of 10. The old one, a 3 out of 10. And up next, we travel to the United States with the Houston Dynamo. The old logo, I quite like. I think it's a pretty decent logo. It's unique, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The new logo it has something, like this shape is something you don't really see. I'm referring a lot to shapes in this video, but I think the shape of a logo is very important for the way it can be portrayed. So in my opinion, the new logo gets a 6 out of 10 because I think the old logo is slightly superior, but I still quite like both logos in this case. A unique example, in my opinion. And finally, we travel to Montreal, where not only the logo has changed, but also the complete identity of the club. And I don't know why, because I don't think there was anything wrong with the name Montreal Impact, but now it's Club de Football de Montreal, so they've really changed into a French identity, which, I mean, they're from Quebec, so, you know, do what you must, of course. But this kind of reminds me of Cardiff City, who went from being the Bluebirds into this like red team because they had a Malaysian owner and they really like dragons. So they changed their colors into red, and then with the fierce opposition from the fans, they changed back eventually to blue. In this case, it's not as severe because they don't change the club colors completely, but the identity of the club gets changed. In my opinion, the old logo was cool. I give it an 8 out of 10. The new logo is round, difficult to read, just doesn't look very appealing. I don't know what the pattern is supposed to mean. 3 out of 10. It's pretty awful. So let's get back into the theory of this video. For fans, the logo is the first thing they associate their team with. Some even get tattoos on their body, like for example on their stomach, on their back, on their heart, of their team's logo. Same thing can be said for the colors of a team. Someone that supports Inter might never wear the color red, or someone that supports Milan might never wear the color blue. So this goes both ways. It should come to no surprise that modern football is mainly revolving around money these days. In a world dominated by money, branding is very important. Football clubs realize that now more than ever. When a brand works sufficiently, tons of money can be made globally. These factors are the driving force behind some recent logo changes. Like Juventus, for example. Simplicity is key in these logos. Some clubs are becoming brands worldwide. I'm not opposed to change or progress, on the contrary, however, but I'm genuinely sad to see old, historic and iconic logos disappear in favor of bland new ones created to generate profit. Not specifically to please the fans, who in my opinion are overlooked in these instances. Cardiff City, as mentioned before, changed their logo back after some years of heavy fan protests. Another few examples are Chicago Fire and Leeds United. They respectively are going to change their logos because fans were disappointed with the new logo that they proposed. Another reason for teams choosing these round logos instead of other shapes is very simple. It fits perfectly in these round little icons that they have to use on social media. Because nowadays, all the internet, everything that a club has said, is being published on social media. Everyone is using social media to follow news of their club. So to be able to be recognized fast in a post in their round little logo, a round little symbol, a round little logo works perfectly in that shape. So that's why clubs are also choosing to get round logos instead of their old iconic logo shapes. So, clubs are becoming brands globally. Is this necessarily a bad thing? No, I don't think so. Because just that's the way the world works nowadays. We cannot stop this type of progress of money being the driving force behind decisions made by clubs. But do I think it's a good thing? No, because I think that domestic fans that actually pay money to go to the club week in, week out, should have a second opinion on logos that get changed nowadays. You cannot tell a supporter that's gone to the club for 30, 40, 50 years that their brand that they identified themselves with for so many years is now completely different. It doesn't mean that the club identity specifically is different, but just the image that's shown as the complete style. The club is the logo in some ways. The club for other people is the logo. People see the logo and they think of the club. For them to see this change could be a drastic change in their lives even. And that's why I think fans should be the number one priority when it comes to changing logos. Not money. But sadly, I don't think we will see this change happen. And this doesn't also mean that all of the logo changes are bad, because some of the logos I showed in this video actually improved a lot. Some did need to be changed because they were just stuck in the past. They were just too old, unintelligible even, some. But unfortunately, many seem to simply have been created by the same marketing company. They seem very uncreative, and they just lack some identity. I hope that in the future fans will be taken into account in the decision-making process, which can be seen with Woking, for example, whose fans got to choose the logo that they wanted to represent them for the future. Supporters spend their lives dedicated to a club and their badge. Therefore, they should be respected and consulted in these processes. Thank you for watching this video. I hope to be releasing more in-depth football stories about players, clubs, derbies and fans in the near future. Please consider subscribing if you like this content, and it would be much appreciated if you give this video a like. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.